My name's Sean, God Squad's International President, and welcome to hear the next Bible reflection from various God Squad members around the world. Currently, we're looking at the I am sayings of Jesus in John's Gospel. This week, Buckshot joins us from Wellington, New Zealand, to talk about Jesus' statement, I am the way, the truth, and the life, from John's Gospel, chapter 14 and verse 6.
Takato na mihi nui kia koutou. Hey friends, it's great to be with you again. It's Buckshot here coming to you from Wellington in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And it's a real pleasure and privilege to be part of this new series based on the I am statements of Jesus recorded in John's Gospel. Sean introduced them last week and reminded us that the I am idea is embedded deep in the Jewish psyche because it first appeared in their writings and their stories where Moses was attracted to a burning bush in the desert and God revealed himself to him as I am who I am. Now John is writing about 60 years maybe after Jesus has lived and died and been resurrected, and he is bringing his lifetime's experience of Jesus on the road and explaining that he too has met in Jesus the I am who I am that Moses met in the desert. And today it's my job, my task, to unpack John chapter 14, where Jesus is recorded by John as saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And the context of this statement is the Last Supper before Jesus is killed the next day by the Roman and the Jewish authorities. And he's telling his friends that he is going to be going away. And Thomas asks him a question. Well, if you're going away, how are we going to find you? And Jesus replies, I am the way, the truth, and the life. It's a really important statement because it unpacks a lot of what Jesus is on about. We need to be really careful with this statement. I actually blame this statement for a lot of the things the church and Christians have been accused of doing poorly over the centuries. Because if we maintain that we are the exclusive guardians of truth, it puts us in a really dangerous situation. So we need to be really careful how we handle this text. Now I've got this little humble tool here. You've probably got one too. This is an Estwing hammer. I use it regularly in my day-to-day work as a carpenter. It's made a lot of people happy, as I might have built them a deck, repaired their roof, fixed their bathroom, installed a kitchen, done something beautiful with this humble little tool. It's very versatile. You can do all sorts of things. I use it to help me stand up sometimes when I'm down kneeling on the ground. It's not just for hammering in nails. It's really versatile and practical tool. But in the wrong hands, this is a disastrous and dangerous tool. It's been used in many brawls. I know someone who killed someone with one of these. So we need to be really careful how we use and implement like that. Are we using it for good, for beauty and love, or are we damaging those around us? And this I am statement can be used really, really poorly. I've seen some poor theology and some appalling behaviour because of it. Some people historically seem to think that this saying means everything they think or say or their church says must be true, or that they have an exclusive insight into what the truth is. If you're not a signed up Jesus freak like me, how on earth can anything you say be true? And this attitude, this potential can cause lots of problems if we encounter people of other faiths or other ideologies or even no faith who might come up with some idea that actually is true. How do we reconcile that? And the church had a real problem centuries ago when Copernicus discovered in his science work that the earth was not flat, that the sun did not go around the earth. And that had been the view for so long, and so much theology had hung on that idea. But it was wrong. How do we reconcile it when we discover that some things actually are not true and other things are? Copernicus and other scientists in that time were treated really poorly by the church. Some were burnt at the stake, unfortunately. But if truth is true and Jesus is the truth, There must be a way to reconcile new truths that we uncover with the way of Jesus. So this statement is not a black and white statement to be ascribed to, believed in with no thought. It's an invitation to go on a journey and wrestle with all sorts of things to find out actually what is the truth. You must remember that I am is not a Western scientific statement. It is a metaphorical Middle Eastern indigenous idea from the depths of time. So I am the way, the truth, and the life does not have to be a literal empirical idea. It is way more than that, and it is worth exploring. And I think the way to start exploring that is to discuss what it means, or what I am the way could mean. What is the way of Jesus? A few weeks ago we celebrated Holy Week and Easter, and in that story is embedded, I think, the essential DNA of the way of Jesus. He chooses to humbly ride into Jerusalem on a donkey. He chooses to embrace suffering. He doesn't defend his name and his reputation when it is being stamped in the mud. He turns the other cheek. He is amazingly graceful as he shows incredible mercy generously to those who are being violent towards him. This way is not about proving that he is right. It is not about hammering home the fact that I know the truth and you don't. It's not about proof texts and dogmatic arguments about disputable matters. We call it the way of the cross, the way of discipleship. Jesus tells Thomas that the way to his kingdom is this way. The way to the Father's house, to the kingdom of God, is this way of Jesus. And as Jesus showed us, this way will strip away everything we know. It'll question everything about us. It'll even lead us to a point of death where we have to let go a whole lot of things which we might even think are true. But as we go on that journey, this way of Jesus, we find that a way of freedom to love and live life to the full is opened up before us. I am the way. This way of Jesus is the only way to life. Every other way leads to death. Jesus at that time was surrounded by violence, and we now know from empirical research and lots of examples that violence seriously hurts people, the victims especially, but also the perpetrators of violence, damages their psyche, their soul, and their heart. We know this to be a documented fact from research. So it's really important that we handle this way of the saying of Jesus well. We can use it violently against people and claim the high ground. We can go on crusades to prove that we are right, that we should maintain the position of being the guardians of truth and morality. But that is not the way of Jesus. He lays all that aside so that he can build love and community with those around him. The way of Jesus will include suffering. It will include merciful and passionate love. This is a hard road. We will get hurt. We will get taken advantage of. We may even die. But this is the truth. It is the only way to life. It's fighting, bullying, and maintaining control shuts down the opportunity and the possibility of communitas growing, of loving community happening amongst those around us. So John's record of Jesus saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life, I feel, is an invitation for us to explore the depths of the ancient I am who I am metaphor by going on a journey on the way of Jesus. John had encountered this reality in Jesus, that he was who Moses experienced as I am who I am. And John stuck with Jesus and his way for the whole of his life. I hope too that you, my friends, are able to experience the fullness of life, freedom through embracing truth, and the friendship of Christ as you continue to choose grace mercy, love, and compassion each day on this way of Jesus. Kia kaha I homa, I te ara o te tātou āriki ko ihu karaite. Cheers, and God be with you.